So we're gonna start off with some songs, and look, no tracks. It's all guitar this morning, guitar and drums. Thanks, Matt, for helping us. So let's stand and sing to some songs together. Don't forget, you guys are here for a good time. 2, 3, 4. Look down and see what was given to you and me. Can't hear you. Right here we know. Come on. The power that we hold to kindle the spark, so we can light up the dark. Show others the way. Let them see a brand new day. We're standing on holy, yes we are. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy ground. Whoa, whoa, yeah, come on. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy ground. Whoa, whoa, yeah, come on now, sing. Right where we are. We've traveled so far. Inside we know we've got further to go, yeah. Throw the past in the fire so that we can grow higher. And look down and sing. We are all that we need to be. We're standing on holy, yes we are. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy ground. Whoa, whoa, yeah, come on. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy ground. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Inside, outside, we can really bring the fire with a perfect appointment. We can raise vibration high, living into integrity. We can help the world to see, being all that we can be. We can lead humanity. Inside, outside, we can really bring the fire with a perfect appointment. We can raise vibration high, living into integrity. We can help the world to see, being all that we can be. We can lead humanity. 'Cause we're standing on holy. Woo. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy ground. Whoa, whoa, yeah. We're singing on holy. Yeah, come on now. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy ground. 2 more times. We're standing on holy, holy, holy. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy ground. Whoa, 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 now, yeah. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy ground. We're standing on holy ground. Woo. Let's keep everybody moving. We're going to have a little Karen Drucker song I altered. If I go off too fast, you guys are going to be struggling, so I got to make sure I go settle it down a little bit. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let freedom ring from every bell around this land. Let every voice be lifted, every woman, every man. Let us turn our hearts to joy, walk together hand in hand. Raise each other up, it's time to take a stand. So let there be peace. I stand for peace, let there be love. I am a stand for love, let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let freedom ring from every bell around this land. Let every voice be lifted, every woman, every man. Let us turn our hearts to joy, walk together hand in hand. Raise each other up, it's time to take a stand. One more time. Raise each other up, it's time to take a stand. We've got another old classic coming up. Let's be the change. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the love you want to flow. Look for the things you want to feel around you. Forgive others and let go. Look within to find the endless resource. Think for joy and send it out. Look to spirit for your inspiration. It's life you talk about. Be the change you want to see in this place. Shine the light you want to grow. Be the truth you want to know around you. Your divine soul, let it show. Look inside to find the God you're seeking. Know the plan that is for you. Look to wisdom and imagination, 'cause the change you want is you. Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the love you want to flow. Be the peace you want to feel around you. Forgive others and let go. Be the change. Be the change. Be the change. There you are. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Unity in the Seven Hills. Why don't we start off by blessing the Unity candle with that great Unity affirmation? There's only one presence and one power in the universe and in our lives. God, the good, omnipotent. We sang that wonderful song, We're Standing on Holy Ground, many other wonderful songs, but standing on holy ground. But it's been sad recently. There have been a number of vandalisms in Unity churches. Unity of Roanoke Valley recently went through several. We went through the bookstore, but the bookstore is, back, and stuff is back at Unity of Roanoke Valley. But just last night, I got a call from a good friend who is the minister at Unity in Hartford. And this week there was early in the week, people broke in and stole equipment and et cetera, et cetera. But then it looks like the same people came back and lit a fire with the intentions of burning the place down. Fortunately, they did it under the sprinkler system, and so the sprinkler system came down. They're meeting another place today, and they're going to go back and bless the place. Fortunately, the place was insured. But I'd like to see Hartford, all churches, as standing on holy ground, and realizing that when they go through challenges, to see them as opportunities for spiritual growth, and to realize that the church buildings are wonderful. We love our building. The mortgage is paid off. We love this place. But to realize the church is not the building, the church are the people. And when the people are centered in that consciousness, nothing can stop them from regrowing back and regrowing back and as it were, building back better. Thank you, dear Spirit, for that spirit and that consciousness. If there's anybody who's new to Unity of Seven Hills, we love to have you. We're glad you're here. We have a wonderful packet. And I'm trying to embarrass people if you're new. We have a wonderful packet which has new material and can explain. Anybody interested? Yes, no? If not, don't worry. Come on back at the end of the service and we will have copies that explains about unity. It also explains about unity in the Seven Hills. Every week we do a principle, and this week we are on the first principle, which is that wonderful principle we just talked about, that some other places, God is a lot of times presented as this, if you step on a crack, zap, you go, and that's really not what we believe in. Such a loving God who has our backs covered, who is there, a loving God supporting us in this incredibly wonderful universe. And one of the ways we say it is through the principle which is up on screen. Let's say it together. God is all there is and is present everywhere. This is the force of love and wisdom that underlines all existence. Albert Einstein said one of the basic things, basic questions, deciding whether the universe is just this cold, hostile place or whether it is a place of a loving environment supporting us. He said he took the latter. He believed the latter, and we very much believe the latter too. We find that so encouraging and so important when we look at life and that way and with that consciousness. We're also very fortunate to have a wonderful YFM program run by Crystal, and it's just gone wonderfully well. We'd now like to bless our kids as they go off and learn. So, Daniel, why don't we come and now bless our youth? We say, you are a perfect child of God, and God and I love you just the way you are and wherever you are.
So let's stand and sing. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let's shine a little brighter this morning. 1, 2, ready, go. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Thank you. After the service and after fellowship, and join us please after the service for food and fellowship, but after that we're going to have a short congregational discussion. At a recent workshop, the group there, and it was a pretty representative group, came up with a new vision statement, and we'd like to talk about it with you. Should it be our new vision statement? But we'll go with the one we have. First, let's say affirm our mission statement. Unity in the Seven Hills is a vibrant, inclusive community that inspires individual spiritual growth through education, prayer, heart connection, and sacred service. And our vision statement, centered in spirit, we see a world transformed by divine love, where innovative solutions are celebrated and all needs are met. And I've asked Mary Ellen to come on up and read the daily word.
The daily word for today is actually 3 words. Pray for others. As I pray, I affirm the activity of God in your life and mine. I am honored by the trust of those who ask me to pray with them. Whatever I'm asked to pray about, my responsibility is always the same: to recognize all qualities of God are active, even in the most challenging situations. I remain steadfast, affirming this truth. If I have been asked to pray for healing, I release all thoughts of illness. I affirm divine life is active in every cell. I see harmony and perfect function restored. If I'm praying for abundance, I entertain no thought of lack. I affirm divine wisdom, love, and understanding, guiding the one with whom I pray to make wise, prospering choices. As I affirm truth for all who've asked for prayer, my awareness of God's activity in my life increases also. Beloved, I pray that all may go well with you, and that you may be in good health, just as it is well with your soul. 3 John 1:2.
Thank you, Mary Ellen. And praying, Unity started out as a prayer ministry, and prayer remains centered. I know that a lot of times when you say to somebody, in this society, you're in my prayers, a lot of times they're thinking, well, yeah, that's great, but I prefer cash. Prayer is important, and a lot of times it's the most important thing that we can do. And it's not so much to change God's mind as it is to raise our consciousness. And when we do that, incredible things can happen. And now we're ready for some special music.
So this is a song I wrote. Stand up one more time, stand up, keep on standing, get up, don't you give up, stand up, stand up, stand up one more time, stand up, keep on standing, get up, don't you give up, stand up, stand up. How are you living? What do you choose? How do you react whether you win or you lose? What are you giving? What have you done? Are you becoming? Are you having fun? Are you having fun? Well then let's stand up one more time, stand up, keep on standing, get up, don't you give up, stand up, stand up, stand up one more time, stand up, keep on standing, get up, don't you give up, stand up, stand up. So sometimes life sends you some trials. Sometimes you hit rock bottom. So I added this little bit to the song. Rock bottom can make a great foundation. It can be a great place to start. Rock bottom can make a great foundation. It can be a great place to start. Rock bottom can make a great foundation. It can be a great place to start. And you can stand up one more time, stand up, keep on standing, get up, don't you give up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, get up, stand up. You can do that with me now, come on. Stand up, stand up, get up, stand up, stand up one more time, stand up, keep on standing, get up, don't you give up, stand up, stand up. How are you living? What do you choose? How do you react when you win or you lose? What are you giving? What have you done? Are you becoming? Are you having fun? Stand up one more time, stand up, keep on standing, get up, don't you give up, stand up, stand up, stand up one more time, stand up, keep on standing, get up, don't you give up, stand up, Stand up one more time, stand up one more time, stand up, keep on standing, get up, don't you give up, stand up, stand up. There you are.
Wow.
Thanks for standing up.
Well, speaking of tragedies to buildings and churches and all that, it's the 4th anniversary of the fire at that great cathedral in Notre Dame. And I don't know about you. It used to be, remember when we would learn, there's an assassination or something or a plane crash or whatever. We learned about it through radio or television. Nowadays, it seems the first thing we learn, at least me a lot of times, and I bet you too, it's on your smartphone that it's popping up and all that. So I'm looking at, it was 4 years ago, I'm looking at my smartphone, and there's a picture of Notre Dame Cathedral on fire. My first reaction, I'm looking at it and said, this is obviously photoshopped, and then finally they came and, I saw other feeds and no, this was true. This was actually going on. I thought, oh my goodness. And so my older daughter, Robin, was there. I said, Robin, look at this. And Robin's looking. I said, no, this is really, Notre Dame Cathedral, this is so central to French culture and everything. I said, this would be like if the National Cathedral in Washington were on fire. She was looking at me. I said, okay, this would be like for us if the White House and the Capitol building were on fire. She's looking. I said, Robin, this would be like if Disneyland were on fire. And she said, wow. And then she looks at me and says, so for you, this would be like if Yankee Stadium were on fire. I said, yeah. Whoa. It does, even if you're not Catholic or you're an atheist or agnostic, if you're French, Notre Dame is so central. I remember, this was before my time, but I'd seen videos of it. Charles de Gaulle, the Charles de Gaulle and the Free French and the Allies are coming in, liberating Paris. And Charles de Gaulle, he was tall. He could have been a center for an NBA team. And he's walking down the Champs-Élysées, heading for Notre Dame, and there's still Nazis on the rooftop firing, and people are ducking. Charles de Gaulle is an easy, you think, 6, 7, he's walking tall, not ducking at all when it goes down. And he goes into Notre Dame Cathedral, and there's the choir, and he's praying. And I remember, my time, been to Paris twice, and I fell in love with Notre Dame. It's incredibly beautiful, and there's the rose window, the stained glass. I just remember kneeling in front of it, and sunlight was coming through, and it was a beautiful, beautiful spiritual experience. And it's right by the river, by the Seine, and it was just such an incredibly moving experience. And the next day, I remember there are 2 Unity churches in Tulsa. We were in Tulsa at the time, and so I'm visiting, having lunch with the other Unity minister, and I'm up at her church, and she's sharing about her times in Notre Dame, and me. She said, well, boy, that's not going to be built for another 20, 40 years, and by the time it's rebuilt, you and I are going to be too old to go see it. I said to myself, I didn't say it to her, but I said to myself, I'm not affirming that one, sister, And so, but then President Macron, president of France, gets on the television and says, we will rebuild it within 10 years. We will rebuild the Notre Dame within 10 years. And my memories going back, John Kennedy. Remember John Kennedy? The torch has been passed to a new generation, conceived, and we will have a man on the moon within 10 years. And we will rebuild Notre Dame, and we're going to build it. We're going to build it back better. There was recently an article in the New York Times about how they're planned to rebuild it so the acoustics in Notre Dame Cathedral are better than any acoustics of any other cathedral around the world. We are going to build it back better. And people, started making contributions, and companies made contributions. The National Assembly passed a major bill to, all parties, which you never see from the left, from the right, they're all agreeing, we, vive la France, we will rebuild it. The church, oh my God, the church has, we will contribute this and we will do that. And it was, the spirit, and there was a telethon, and all French pop stars got on it, and they're soliciting money, and it was Vive la France, la da 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 dum ba dum ba dum, marchons, marchons, and that spirit just swelled, and then there was an article in the Wall Street Journal, maybe 2 or 3 days after the fire, and I remember reading it, and the article said that everybody, all the leaders in the government, in the church, in the business world, they all knew that Notre Dame was a train wreck waiting to happen. They all knew this. They all knew that the beams in the roof, it was a tinderbox. This was, ancient, untreated wood. All it would take would be one spark, and the whole thing, one thing would go up, or, one Molotov cocktail from a terrorist, and the whole roof would come, would come down. And they all knew that when it rained, the lead waste, the amount of lead waste that flowed out of that place was, just really literally horrible. And the gargoyles, remember, the gargoyle. Oh, well, anyway, I should have had Lon Chaney come here and act a gargoyle. But the gargoyles, a lot of the gargoyles were just literally hanging off. Bob, you think we need a lot of repair? Gargoyles hanging off the side. This is 13 stories up. They're hanging, and you know what they did? I kid you not. They went to the French equivalent of Home Depot, and they got plastic rope and garden hose, and they're holding these gargoyles tied to Notre Dame Cathedral with plastic rope, which was not ever designed to do the job. And then the thing that really got me it started talking about the flying buttresses. Believe me, there's going to be a real spirit. I think there's a real spiritual lesson in all of this for all of us. And the flying buttresses are those things that flow out of the cathedral and come down their lit arches. And well, they're not just there for decoration. They're there to actually carry the weight or the load off the building. I remember this was just a while ago. Therese says to me, "Daddy, if this wall were knocked, we were going around, and she's swinging around, or bumping against a wall. She said, if this wall went out, what would happen?" I said, probably, well, it'd be ugly, and you wouldn't have your iPad for a while, but the house would stay. Because this wall's not carrying the load of the house. So we're downstairs doing laundry, and she's swinging around this pillar, and she said, "What would happen if this pillar went?" I said, "If this pillar is really carrying the load of the house. If this pillar went, the whole house would come. You probably would come caving down." So the way they built these cathedrals back then, and so it takes most of the, this is heavy stone lifted up and making these arches, Gothic arches. It carries the weight away, so you can have the beauty of a rose window, stained glass, and it's not where the rose window is. There's no load. There's no stone load pushing down. Then the Wall Street Journal article started describing what this flying buttress was like, and what decrepit shape it was in, and could easily, stop supporting the load. And everybody, everybody knew, in the rulings, in the elite circles knew this. They all knew that Notre Dame was a train wreck waiting to happen, and yet nobody could do anything to stop the train wreck from happening. Monsieur, we have tried, the government, we have tried in the worst way to get a bill through the National Assembly, but politics is this and that. We couldn't get anything through. And business, what about businesses, well, we are in global competition, right? The global, and it is, very tough and very, very competitive. We do not have the money to and what about the church? Oh, monsieur, we don't have the money. She with the Vatican, and we don't control the Vatican, and so nobody could do. There was nothing. To mix metaphors, as it were, they couldn't get a plug nickel, as it were, to restore Notre Dame. And yet, after the fire, billions of euros came flying out. Bills just shot through the National Assembly. Guess what? The church found a ton of money to be able to devote to rebuild Notre Dame. And guess what? Businesses and private individuals were able to find this money. Now, I'm not bringing all this up to point a finger at the French. And, there's a wonderful saying, when you point a finger, there are three fingers pointing back at you. So I'm not here to point a finger at the French. I'm more interested actually in the three fingers pointing back at us, at me, and ask myself, and I think, it's a good question for all of us to ask, what in American society, in our culture, in our country, in our civilization, what in our community, and importantly, what on an individual level, do we know really is a train wreck waiting to happen? Or is in something which is in, to quote from Shakespeare, we know something is, as it were, is rotten in the state of Denmark, as it were. We know that, and yet we are not really willing to lift a finger before the fire, before the tragedy. Yet after the tragedy, my God, then we're really willing to do something. Let's take the three fingers pointing back and let's point it at me. In my case, for most or good portion of my life, I was morbidly obese. I was over 100 pounds heavier than you see me. Doctors came to me, and a cardiologist came to me and said, Rick, you are a heart attack waiting to happen. This could, this really honestly true. I mean, this is serious. This is that, and explained it to me. And they're right. I should do something, and I started. But after the third day, forget it. We just saw a wonderful movie called Air, which is about Michael Jordan and Nike, getting Michael Jordan to sign for Nike shoes. And so the executive, the Nike executive, who was a basketball star in the day, but now's middle-aged and, big paunch and all that. So there's one scene where he puts on Nike, just do it. He puts on the Nike shoes and goes to the track, which he hasn't been to in ages. He sees all these people running in Nike shoes, and he gets down, he gets ready. He runs maybe 10 yards, and then he goes, oh, forget this, That was the attitude. And so in my case, nothing happened. Nothing happened. But then one day I was an adjunct professor at George Washington University. I was teaching a class. 10 more minutes left, I started feeling this pounding inside of me. And I just, oh my God, I felt this is the heart attack which is going to kill me. And fortunately, there was only 10 minutes I could get the class out. And I was able to get to the emergency room. I had never seen an emergency room move that quickly. As a matter of fact, I tell to my kids, if we're ever at urgent care and we're not being seen for a long time, I said to them, believe me, with urgent care in the emergency room, you want to be in that position where they feel, they don't have to see you for 3 hours, as opposed to, when you rush through the door like I did that day. I mean, that's not where you want to be. But anyway, they stabilized me. They told me it wasn't a heart attack. They told me what the cardiology condition was, but they said, if you don't, bottom line, still the same. We did a chemical stress test. We think you're okay. No damage was done. But if this were to happen again, chances are very, very good that the results will be radically different. You better believe I got religion. And as sort of Notre Dame Cathedral, as it were, the euros started pouring out. I remember, my late wife, Debbie, came in, and she had essentially a brochure called Dignity of Choice. I remember the title. Gave it to me, had laid out several diets and food plans. I looked at it for less than a minute. When the gun's pointed to your head, it's easy sometimes to make a decision. Dr. Samuel Johnson, the British scholar from way back, said that the thought of a hanging really does concentrate one's mind. And I opened it. In less than a minute, I said, that's the food plan I'm going to follow. And it's been essentially the food plan I to this day. But it took that fire, as it were, in Notre Dame to get me to be, to move that way. In New Thought, we talk about so many wonderful things about a loving, supportive God, and that divine spark is inside of you. But I think Eric Butterworth puts it so well. Eric Butterworth, that great Unity teacher, said that God cannot do to you no more than what it can do through you, doing through you. And that, it's our cooperation with that flow of spirit. That flow of spirit may be there, but, when we are serious about it, things start to happen. If it's sort of kind of wish, remember that there was that old Beach Boys song, wouldn't it be nice with da da da. When we're in the wouldn't it be nice, nothing tends to happen. But when we are serious, I have seen this time and time again, my life and other people's lives, when we are serious, when we are truly, truly serious about something, the resources from the universe flow through. I mean, when this wouldn't it be nice if we paid off our mortgage? Wouldn't it be, Beach Boy, wouldn't it be, when this congregation got serious about it, committed to it, and this was serious, the resources flowed. Sally and Daniel went back very recently, and I hope there comes a time where we can share it with the whole congregation. What were the steps that led to that paying off of the mortgage? What led to that paying off of the mortgage? And they reconstructed what happened, because this was really sort of the unfolding of a divine plan. And it was interesting to see the steps that happened, about how people, it was first Deanna came and said, this is the condition we're in. It's an adjustable rate mortgage, and rates are probably going to be going up in the environment. If they go up, this is what's the condition. And this congregation got serious about it, and guess what? The resources flowed. As I say, I hope there is a time in the near future where we go through that, the incredible process. So I would get to, I don't think it has to take, does it have to take a heart, going in thinking you're having the heart attack that's going to kill you? Does it take the fire in Notre Dame to get us serious? I don't think so. I think, to use another biblical image, I think we can see the handwriting on the wall before the actual event occurs. And so I'd ask all of us for a moment just to center, to take a deep breath, and to close our eyes if we feel comfortable doing so. And to ask, what inside, and let's do this first on a personal level, is there anything in our lives, and God bless you if there's not, but there probably is something like this in somebody else that you know, in the family or near you. Where is there a situation that is very similar to Notre Dame Cathedral, where we know it is a train wreck, a potential train wreck waiting to happen? Is there something like that? And if there is, dear Spirit, flowing through us and in us, help us to get serious about this. What can we do now? Before the fire, before the heart condition, what can we do, working with Spirit, to help avoid this train wreck? And then I'd ask, maybe beyond ourselves, to look in our society. And it's so easy to say, you know, I'm just one small person. What can I do? The Dalai Lama says, if you think a small thing can't have a major impact, try going into a sleeping bag with a mosquito. And I also love the story. There was a, in the apocryphal story, the beach, there are all these starfish on the beach, just washed there, and they're going to die if they don't get thrown back into the ocean. And a man goes and he starts throwing some of the starfish back. Maybe he's only able to throw maybe 50 starfish back. And this man comes by and looks at him and says, what good are you doing? Is that? All you can throw is maybe 50 back, and look, there are hundreds and hundreds. The other man took one starfish and threw it back into the ocean and said, well, it did good for that particular starfish. What starfish can we throw back? What situations do we feel are potential train wrecks or really serious? What can we do? What starfish can we throw back? And again, I point to this congregation as a great example with the food pantry. It's not going to eliminate world hunger, but it's throwing some starfish back into the ocean. Eric Butterworth, that great unity teacher again, said that our first job is not to set things right. Our first job is to see things right. I believe that all of us have our potential Notre Dames. Let's not wait for the fire before we do the next right thing. Let's do today what we know Spirit would have us do, and do it with a smile. Thank you, and God bless.
So today we're going to go into meditation using a Michael Gott song. Karen Drucker added some words, and then I added my own words as well. So in this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I forgive myself, I know that I am free, letting doubt and fear fall away from me. I open my heart and I feel there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
I'd ask you to take a deep breath in and slowly let it out. Take another deep breath in and slowly let it out. Let's close our eyes if we feel comfortable doing so. I'd like you to think of, well, maybe it's a stained glass window with the sunlight pouring through. Or maybe it's a small garden. We're so fortunate in Lynchburg in this time of the year. There's so many beautiful gardens and paths. Maybe it is a trail in nature. Maybe it is walking by the James River or in the Blue Ridge and Shenandoah Mountains. Maybe it's a bubble bath, some place where we feel so close. In Celtic tradition, they call it thin places, where we feel so close to that divine spirit that it touches us and we know that it is inside of us. And though there be challenges in our lives, for this moment we can see even those challenges as opportunities. We remember the words of the Apostle Paul. All things work together for good for those who know and love God. And we do. And we feel another thing the Apostle Paul talked about. The peace that passes all understanding. And filled with this peace, joy, and hope, and faith, we gladly go into the silence. As the prophet Zechariah said many years ago, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, says the Lord. The age of miracles is not past. We live surrounded in this wonderful spiritual field. And for this and so much more, we say thank you and amen and amen.
The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. And all is well. Let's stand. God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. And all is well.
Please be seated. You know, there's a wonderful story behind that. I mean, behind the prayer, beautiful song based on James Dillett Freeman, who many see as the poet laureate of the Unity movement. And James Dillett Freeman, the astronauts have carried his poetry and prayers to the moon. But anyway, the prayer for protection, the way it got written, it was during World War II, and a lot of times people were saying that the 23rd Psalm, Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, but then comes the part, and he leads me, though he leads me through the valley of the shadow of death. Well, several people at Unity came to James Dillett Freeman and said, it's hard for mothers to say, well, they don't want to see their sons walking through the valley of the shadow of death, and soldiers don't want, it's not the greatest thing for. Could you write something to replace the 23rd Psalm? And James Dillett Freeman said, you kidding me? You expect me to improve on the 23rd Psalm? and yet he went off and then came back with the prayer, that beautiful, prayer for protection, which I love how this congregation sets it to music and sings it. It's so wonderful. We come now to time for offerings, gifts, tithes, and we really, honestly, truly have been so blessed. We are abundantly blessed, and we support so many. This is not just, we are a tithing church. We certainly give, we support key institutions in Unity, from Silent Unity, that incredible 24/7 prayer beacon. And if you've not called Silent Unity in an hour of need or whatever, call Silent Unity. It is a wonderful, wonderful prayer beacon. We also support a lot of local we support Unity Worldwide Ministries. We also support tremendous groups that are doing so much good in our community today. This month we are supporting Interfaith, which is a wonderful organization which is bringing congregations together to work on so much healing, both spiritual and physical, in our community. Let's say that wonderful affirmation. Unity in the Seven Hills is abundantly blessed. Creative people are drawn to us. Divine ideas flow through us. Financial resources bless us. And we accomplish mighty works together. And we do. What we're going to be doing, as usual, is our greeters will direct us to come up by rows. Please place your gifts in the basket. Please, I know many of you give online or monthly or whatever. We would love to get your positive vibes and good wishes and prayers. So come on up. There's the Unity candle, and then please take an affirmation. Take an affirmation. I find so often these affirmations, it's weird, but there's real synchronicity. These affirmations really do. I don't know about you, but a lot of times they resonate with, it's just the right word that I needed to hear. So let me turn it over to Daniel for my favorite. Well, I love them all, but this I think is my favorite song of them all.
Let's stand. Hope you're having fun this morning. There's something wonderful. There's something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body. I can feel it in my soul. I can feel it in my heart. And it won't let go, no, it won't let go. All this love inside. We can let it shine. There's something wonderful. There's something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body. I can feel it in my soul. I I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go, no, it won't let go. All this love inside, we can let it shine out. Yes, we can. There's something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Oh, I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go, no, it won't let go. All this love inside, we can let it shine out. Yes, we can. Something wonderful. So let's bless these gifts together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. United in mind, body, and spirit, I dedicate these gifts as they grow to bless our community, our neighborhood, and our world. So, the closing. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. For a schedule of events and classes, go to unityinthesevenhills.org. Let's all say that together. unityinthesevenhills.org. There you go, you can't forget it now. Copies of the calendar and newsletter are in the back. And here's what's happening soon. So don't forget to join our continuing classes. Angels 101 meets on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Looking at angels through the eyes of religions and the experiential ways of appreciating angelic messengers. One-to-Oneness meets Thursdays at 7 p.m. following the meditation and is going through the Bhagavad Gita. Both classes are hybrid, so come in person or join us on Zoom. If you are interested in becoming a member of Unity in the Seven Hills, there will be a new members class following the Sunday, April the 30th service. So that's next week. If you have any questions, speak to Reverend Rick or contact the office. We invite you to an ongoing prayer discussion group starting April the 30th, same day. We will begin with a look at the anatomy of prayer, a 4-part series by Reverend Richard Burdick of Unity North Atlanta. Meetings will be on Zoom, Sunday nights at 7:30. Gina and Gashone are returning May 27th with the Bliss Bash Kirtan experience. Get ready for sacred chanting, singing, and dancing from 4 till 6 with ecstatic music from the phenomenal duo. You can purchase tickets in advance for $20. Tickets on the door will be $25. Your prayer chaplain today is Ari. For all your prayer needs, join us downstairs after the service for a discussion about our possible new vision statement and, more importantly, coffee and snacks. Well, I don't know that it's more important. If you're watching at home, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Click that bell icon for notifications. It's the easiest way to access our live streams. And don't forget to join us for the sound bath. No, that's last week. That was last week. It says it here, though. Don't forget. I hope you guys had a good time. So, yeah, we know where we're going today. We're going downstairs for coffee and a chat. Let's hear a little from the youth.
There we go. Now it's on. Today we talked about Daniel and the lion den and my interpretation of that story and how I believe it means to do the right thing even when it's hard and you will come out victorious. And we did all kinds of lion art. Do you want to hold up your art, Danon? Can you let everybody see? Oh,
yeah, nice.
And Therese, hold up your art. And Carly.
Yay, nice.
Thank y'all.
So it's so interesting. So interesting. Most of the times when I see Judy Rose, she calls me Daniel in the Lion's Den. So I guess you guys are all the lions. And this is the den. So let's close with singing the peace song. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, yes, this is my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. See you all downstairs.